What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with the first Q&A that I've done in a very long time. Hope you guys enjoy this video. Drop a like if you do, and also if you guys do want to ask questions for future Q&As, be sure to follow me on Twitter. Usually I do these on Instagram, but I'm locked out of my Instagram right now because support are pricks. So tell Instagram to let me the fuck back into my account, dude. Please. Come on, bro. It's been like over a week at this point. It's been a long time that I've been waiting for them to help me the fuck out. But either way, without further ado, Twitter will be linked at the very top of the description. Let's not waste any time here. And also, the game I'm playing is fucking sick. I'll have that link to the top of the description too. I'm really baked. I don't remember the name of it, but it'll be linked. It's a cool game. If you're tripping, you're probably going to have fun watching this. Let's dive right into it. So, the first question here from Aura2, coming in with best spot you've ever smoked at. That's a good question. There's a lot of spots that, like, a lot of my friends enjoyed smoking at for pretty generic reasons, you know? Like, for example, there's this one spot where it was just this rectangular-shaped parking lot, and we used to call it the box. And we'd go to this spot, and we'd all just get out of our cars and go stand in a circle at the back of this little, like, rectangle parking lot and just smoke blunts. And it was only, like, literally there was only 5 parking spots here. It was a very small little box. But the reason that it was such a good spot is because it was just really weirdly positioned in the middle of this neighborhood. Like, it was in between a bunch of townhouses. But the thing is, all the townhouses had driveways that could fit at least 2 cars and garages. So it didn't really, like, they didn't need parking here. And this was the only, like, little box like that. Well, actually, no. This is the only little area or, like, neighborhood with boxes like that in the whole area. It was kind of weird, bro. But we used to go sit at this spot and just stand in a circle and smoke blunts all the time. Eventually, like, it started to get popped. I don't really remember exactly, like, what set that ball in motion, but everyone eventually stopped going there because allegedly a cop showed up one time. But I've never seen any evidence of that. But my personal favorite spot that I ever smoked at was probably, there was one time where I was smoking with my friend who we're going to call Eric, back in high school. This is way back in, like, this is before I even went to my alternative school. We linked up in his neighborhood, and he lived maybe like 20 minutes away. And he lived in a fairly nice neighborhood. And we go over to this, like, wide open park, right? And we're walking, and there's, like, people walking dogs and all this shit. And I'm just like, bro, like, are we just going to spark up here? Like, this is kind of, this is kind of hot. There's people everywhere. And he's like, no, just keep following me. So, I follow him, and he takes me under this little bridge that goes across this little lake, right? And under this bridge, there's I think it's like a storm drain or something. One of those big, like, concrete, like, drains, right? That you could just walk into. There was really, like, a little stream of water running through the bottom, but, like, basically dry, So we go in there, and it was such a sick spot because you couldn't see it from any angle. Like, I don't know how he figured out this was here, but, like, you actually could not see this from any angle coming up to it. Like, you just had to kind of know that there was this little indent under the bridge that housed this. And it was so sick. I remember we went in there and we smoked these 2 blunts, and ever since then, whenever I'd link up with him, we'd always smoke in this little, like, storm drain. And it was cool because you could tell that not many people had been there before. There wasn't a bunch of graffiti. There wasn't a bunch of trash. It was actually a really clean spot, and it was nice because on days it was super hot, it would be really cool down there. It would be really fucking nice. It was one of my favorite spots to smoke during the summer. Thank you for that question. Hey, let's move on to the next one. Coming in with the second question of the video here, we've got Peyton, and he asked, what is it like knowing that your parents know you're a drug fiend? I get this question fairly often, and I always like to think about it because it really is kind of interesting, right? Like, putting myself in my parents' shoes, like, if I had a fucking kid, right? And let's say my son pops out, and, he pops out the cut, and he's chilling, and one day, he's, like, in like, freshman year of high school, and he comes up to me, and he's like, no, even younger than that, he's in, like, 6th grade, and he's like, Dad, yeah, I want to get stoned, I know that my genetics would get passed down to any child, okay? I know that if I had a child, once that child got intoxicated, it's a wrap, okay? It's over with. There's no chance for that motherfucker to go to college. That dude better become the plug or do something like I did, like YouTube or something where you can employ yourself. But listen, that guy's going to be fiending harder than me, okay? Way harder than me. I'm going to pass down the peak genetics down to my child, right? And thinking about that, I'd be proud of it. But my parents, on the other hand, they don't really view it like me, right? They view it very differently, right? My dad, on one hand, he hates it. He absolutely despises it, can't stand it, has always tried to like change it and change me, and we don't talk anymore because of it. My mom, on the other hand, she doesn't really give a shit. At first, she was really concerned about it and would try to like stop me from doing drugs, but she kind of realized eventually, like, oh, my son is just a career crackhead, and now she's just supportive of it. She's like, well, as long as you're not in the hospital or jail, that's good enough for her. So it all kind of works out, and it actually turned out that quite a bit of my family is kind of like becoming supportive of it, right? Like at first, when I actually dropped out of high school and when I quit my job to go full time with this, pretty much nobody in my family supported this or thought anything was going to happen with it. And honestly, I didn't even think I was going to succeed. But now that I've actually made this my full-time job, the opinions of some of my family members, including my parents, have kind of started to shift a little bit more positively, right? But hey, thank you for that question, Peyton. Let's move on to the next one. Coming in with the next question here, we've got the Capcom Junkie, and he says, are you big on JRPGs, Persona, Final Fantasy, etc.? I feel like I said fantasy really weird. Final Fantasy. Whatever, dude. I feel like I'm baked. I'm really high. Either way, okay. JRPGs. Now, I've played a lot of these, right? I've played a lot of JRPGs because they're actually like one of my favorite genre of games. I really love Persona, but I think one of my favorite examples of a JRPG is probably, honestly, Yakuza. It's not like a standard style JRPG with like these RP battles, but it's still a Japanese role-playing game, and it's made in Japan, and it's fucking sick, right? It's one of my favorite franchises. But in terms of like typical turn-based combat JRPGs, the Final Fantasy VII Remake just dropped, and I just bought that the other day, and I actually never got to play through the original Final Fantasy VII. But I did play through Final Fantasy 15. It's the first Final Fantasy that I beat all the way through, and I actually really liked it. So I was like, you know what? We're going to go back and play some more of these like disgustingly long video games, Because Final Fantasy games, holy shit, they are so fucking long. It's actually kind of gross how long they get. But in general, I do love JRPGs. I love Persona as well. Persona 4, I kind of like a little better than 5. I'm just going to lay that out. 4 is very, very slept on, okay? I really like it. But either way, thank you for asking that question. Let's get into the next one. Garrett Arwood coming in with the next question here. He said, if you were never introduced to drugs and never met Ashton, Kyle, or Cody, where do you think you would be at and what was your plan in life? I think about this myself with my own friend group a lot, so I'd like to hear your perspective. Love the vids, Gobby. Been here since 40K. Hey, thank you, my dude. I appreciate that. And in terms of what my plan was in life if I didn't do this, it changed a lot. Like when I was really, really young, I'm talking super duper young. I think one of the first things I wanted to be, because I played like football. I was like an offensive like lineman when I was a little kid, right? Because I was a little fat kid. I was good at it. And for like maybe like a year, I wanted to be an NFL player. But as you guys can see now, I am not built to be an NFL player, okay? That would have gone terribly. So thank God I didn't go that route. But after that, once I got a little older, for a while, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I honestly had no idea. I went through this phase in middle school where I wanted to be like a computer programmer, because I remember in 6th grade, I learned how to like code like a really basic like .bat file, and from there I was like, dude, I'm gonna be a fucking coder, bro. I'm gonna be a fucking programmer, dude. This is gonna be sick. That of course never came to fruition, But after that, once I got into high school, one of the things I kind of wanted to be was an attorney. And that got shot down quickly because my logic on that was like, you know what? I wanted to argue with people for a living. I feel like I'm good with my words. That got shot down fast because I kind of realized how much education you have to do for that. And after that, my plan in life, like if I didn't do that, I thought about this all the time. After the attorney thing kind of died out in early high school, honestly, I had no idea, dude. I had no fucking clue, and it would stress me out. Like, I'd really overthink it, When I was young, I had a lot of different plans, but besides this, I never really had a realistic, like, plan to stick to. I always was just like, you know what? We're going to wing it. We're just going to send it. And, I mean, it kind of worked out. So for those of you guys out there who are in the same boat, hey, dude, just fucking wing it. You'll be okay. It happened. Listen, nobody knows what the fuck is going on. When you become a grown adult and like move out and like start paying your own bills, you realize really quickly that nobody knows what the fuck is going on, bro. Everyone is like just trying to get it. Everyone is like just trying to figure out like how to adult, bro. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on at any given point. Nobody told me about how much shit I have to clean. Nobody told me how much an electricity bill is, dude. All this shit is so taxed. You're telling me I have to cut my lawn when it gets too long or else I get fined? Excuse me? I have to stand for how long at the DMV? Listen, dude. Okay? You just gotta wing it. You just gotta fucking wing it, dude. See where life takes you. You'll find something you like doing eventually, you know? That's what always happens. But hey, Garrett, thank you very much. Let's get into the next one. Coming in with the next question here, we've got James Needs Help, and he asks, what's your favorite cereal? See, when I was young and, like, favorite cereal of all time, Reese's Puffs. Holy fuck, I used to love that shit. I used to love that shit, bro. Like, I would rather, like, when I was young, I'd rather have Reese's Puffs for dinner than, like, anything else. Like, Reese's Puffs was, like, my treat, you know? Like, other people would be like, you know, Mom, take me to McDonald's. You know, nah, bro. I'd be like, let me get a bowl of those Puffs, boy. Like, them shits hit. Those went crazy. But beyond that, nowadays, my favorite cereal, it kind of depends, but my typical go-to lately, honestly, I've been really fucking with the Fruity Pebbles. I know I've slandered them in the past, because when I was younger, I remember them getting soggy way faster, but I feel like they're better, dude. I feel like they've gotten better, you know? So, big ups to Fruity Pebbles. I've been kind of fucking with it lately, but hey, thank you very much. Let's get into the next question. Coming in with the next question from Thigh Guy. Have you ever been scared to upload a story because you thought cops would get involved? That's a good question. I think one of the things, I've talked about it on a live stream, but one of the things that I've never talked about in a video, and I don't know if I ever will make a full video on that, is for those guys who are OGs, you might remember I told a story about how Ashton got robbed in this girl's bathroom, right? And he had like 40 Xans, some ketamine, and what else did he have? He had a lot of shit. He had like it was a lot of K too. It was like nothing to scoff at. I think it was like an eighth of K, like 40 bars, and he had something else. I don't remember what else he had, but they pulled a gun on him. But I remember mentioning in that video that we got back at those guys, and I've never made a video on why, mainly because like that was probably one of the most illegal things I've ever done. So I genuinely, for the longest time, never wanted to even touch on it, right? And this happened going on probably like 5 years ago now, but I still just never wanted to touch on it, even briefly in a video. But more recently in a stream, I did touch on it, but that's still something I don't think I really want to talk about very much. So we'll leave it at that. But hey, thank you guys for tuning into this Q&A video. Hope you guys did enjoy the gameplay in this one. Let me know if you guys did. I think it's a cool game to look at and watch, but if you guys disagree, let me know. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys tonight on stream. Super late night stream. I'm talking like 1 a.m., very late night. See you guys there. Peace out, everybody.